Hi, Denise Dryden here out on Bainbridge Island. You can probably hear the ferry going by, but I can't watch it because I can't get my camera that direction. So, good morning. It's Sunday. It's November 13th. It's the full moon. And it's a big full moon, so there's lots of emotions going on. So I thought I would talk today about the way that we can feel into our relationships, right? Feeling our relationships. So we know how important our relationships are to us, right? Our relationships are the most important thing. Whether it's a lover, a partner, whether it's our kids, our family, our friends, our pets, our colleagues, our exercise partners. Some of this is working and some of it is really strong and healthy and some of it isn't. And I coach relationships. I coach relationships between parent-child, between adult to adult. And so today I want to go a little bit bigger. I want to go to that bigger perspective of relationships and look at it from sort of an observer position, okay? It's going to be really key. Look at it from an observer position. So when I define relationships defined are a way in which two or more concepts, objects, people are connected. So it's an object, it's a person, or it's a concept, and it's how you connect to those, right? And it's the way two or more groups regard and behave towards one another. So it's how we view them and how we regard and behave towards them, okay? So it's you and something else. You and that person, you and that place, you and that thing. So you have your own lens, right? And you have your own lens of what you experience. And so I can look, there's so many research projects out there that 20 of us can witness the same exact thing, and we will all view it through our own personal lens, and we will describe it differently. So you or I, we have our own lens, and it can be mental. It can be, like, here's the facts. Here's the facts. I'm married. This guy and I are biking partners. She's my daughter. I own this car. I'm standing on a deck. I live on Bainbridge Island. These are my relationships with things, and I can define them in my head. We also have physical conception, sort of like I live on this island. I'm standing on a deck. I live in the same house with so-and-so. So we have these proximity locations. I go to this school. I went to that school. I work at this place. These are all our relationships, right? Okay. So we're used to viewing our relationships as sort of physical and mental. And what I want to do is I want to sort of, go like, this is from the neck up. This is how I describe my relationships, from the neck up. This is who I'm in relationship with. This is where I live. This is what I do. So in my last video, I did the best tool ever for what to do when you're triggered. So if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch that. I talked about how your entire body is this great filtration system and how it takes on emotions and how you can work with them, and what to do when your emotions are triggered. So this is sort of playing off of that one too. So watch this and then go back and watch that one. When we go to emotional awareness of our lens, of our own experience, all of the things that happen they have this dynamic energy. It's kind of like, when I do this, it causes it ripples. There's a cause and effect between me and that thing, me and that person. So emotions are energy in motion. Our emotions are energy that moves around between things. When we get that emotions, that someone throws at us, something the way we feel, something the way we're reacting is energy in motion, then we're like, now I have a different perspective of how to go at that. So we feel the exchange. It can be fun, it can be fulfilling, it can be exciting, it can be sensual, it can be anything we want it to be. Or it could be limiting, it could be frustrating, and we could be reactive. All of that is just energy. So when you view this through your lens of energy, it changes things. So today we're going to focus on our relationship with that energetic integration of that concept, that person, that place, or that thing. The way we feel and how we notice our relationship with that feeling. So, we get a little higher, we get a little taller. It's our relationship with that feeling. Okay? So Daniel Goldman wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence. He calls it EQ. And it's about how we define our relationships and the effects our decision making has on our relationships. And he outlines 5 different ways that we can view emotions. Self-awareness, how to manage emotions, our self-motivation, empathy, how we interact with other people, and how we handle our relationships. So when we look at this from an energetic perspective, when our emotions are involved, there's energy. And when there's energy, it can bounce and intensify back and forth between us and that object, that person, that thing. It can feel like shards of pain. It can feel like warm fuzzies in your heart. And it can feel like anything we want it to feel, anything we take it in to feel. So our bodies react to the energetic connection. Our bodies react to the energetic connection of each interaction. So we experience energy in our system. Our system has its own stories. Our system has its own lens. Our lens is what those energy pulses have been and how they're directly related to how we felt energy pulses before. Does that make sense? How we felt them before is we feel it and we go, oh, that's just like this. And we have a reaction to it. So in other words, when something's coming at us, we have a set way of dealing with it. We have our own internal reactions to that energy, and it makes sense. We resonate with it. Or it comes in, we're like, oh no, dissonance. I cannot do that, right? So here's something to think about, that energy is a vehicle only. Energy is how things go from place to place. It's a frequency. It's a zone. It's something that moves, but it's not of us. It's how we interact with it, how our energy, our own system interacts with that energy. So that emotion can zing around, ding, 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 kind of like, the way pinball machines go. And our relationship with that is what we're talking about today. So think about that energy of emotion as like a note or a frequency. So when we're feeling our emotions, and we're tapping into that frequency, and we have these associations like, ooh, when she does that, I do this. Okay? When mom says that, I feel, and you go, oh yeah, every time she says that, I feel a certain way. When I play outside, I feel. So we want to start going, what is it, the frequency that comes up when I'm out there? What kind of frequencies do I experience when I'm outside? When I smell something? When I feel toward, sort of attraction towards somebody, right? So we hold these memories in this action and reaction to the frequency that we're experiencing, and they're interwoven. They're always interwoven, always. So let's put this into some real life examples. You have a toddler and she's testing the world and saying no to everything. No, 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 stop it, mommy. And can even come and hit at you or throw a temper tantrum when you try to get her to do something. She pushes away and she's verbally and emotionally reactive. No, I said no, and she's pushing. So then go to that and go, well, what is it I experience when she does that? What is my emotional reaction? What is that energetic frequency that I can tap into when she's doing that? Number 2 option, you're taking the bus to work. It always comes. Like I just flew down to the Bay Area and I caught the 4:50 a.m., right? The 4:50, I can hear it every single morning. I'm down there 4:45 waiting for the bus, and it's late. It's late. And I have this relationship with the bus and the story. If it's late, then. If it's late, then. And so your bus might be late. You might have a hard deadline to get to. What do you experience in your relationship with that bus being late? So how can you tap into that emotion? Third, you and your partner are totally beat. You've been working hard all week and it's Friday and you need food. And no matter what you throw out, hey, you want to go get a pizza? You want to go get some pho? Do you want to have a delivery? Do you want Uber to deliver? What do you want to do? And like nothing, it just goes out and it goes flat. Notice your experience with that lack of response, or that sort of like there's nothing there. I can't get agreement, or it's like, nah, I don't feel like that. So what are you experiencing, and what associations do you put in your system when you experience that energy, right? So these associations are yours. These associations are your lens. And the more that we understand them, the more we know how to manage them as a form of energy. Like, oh, look, I am so triggered because I'm hungry and I'm getting hungrier, and neither of us can decide on where to go to eat. So when we step back and we see, feel, experience our relationship to the exchange, then we step into ownership. We own it, all of it. Like, oh, I get really triggered when I throw out options and nobody responds. I get really triggered when I believe I'm a parent and I say you need to do this, and I've got a 2-year-old or a 16 or 17-year-old saying, no, I'm not doing that, right? We watch what's going on, but then if we step up a little higher and we get to the observer, kind of like we're looking around over here, and we go, oh, when they do that, I notice this reaction in my body. We notice how it feels, and we allow ourselves to feel. We allow ourselves to feel, and then we get to choose how we're going to be reactive to it. So it's this beautiful opportunity for choice. You know, it's in our shoulders. It's when we like get up above our heart and we go, oh yeah, I don't have to do this. I don't have to react to this the same old way. I have tools now for how to choose to be in this. So when something happens, like the bus is late, the kid's agitated, or you can't get any real information out of him or her, you have to, sort of go into slow motion and go, oh. And when those little bandwidths of energy start zinging around, or they're flat, or they just aren't working, you go, there it is. What do I want to do with that? So we choose how we respond. We feel the energy and decide if we want to join. If it feels good, we join in. Sometimes it's really fun to join in. If it doesn't feel good, we can sort of like slow motion, like whoa, and just let it go right by us. It isn't even something that we're going to take on. And then that kid can just keep saying no, 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 and you're just looking at them like, sometime they're going to get tired of this. And meanwhile, we still have to go to bed. And so, we use our tools, right? So we let it go. And we step towards what is in resonance. And we manage what is in dissonance. And so we're our own managers. We're our own managers of the feelings that are being thrown around. And if we don't understand the feels, and we don't understand how they affect our body, we don't know what's coming at us. All we know is that when they do that, ouch, this is what I feel. So we want to start to become really aware of our feelings, not just emotional intelligence, but resonance intelligence and energy management, which is when that happens, notice what I do. And then get up a little higher, right? And then look down at it and go, so what are my real choices right now? Because I don't have to take that on. I don't have to buy into that. So we develop our own resonance intelligence. So this is the kind of stuff I've been doing a lot more lately, is taking the standard concepts of parent-child, adult to a work situation, and saying, how do we get a bigger perspective of what's really going on? And when this full moon is out and it's just like beaming down on us, going wong, and it's putting a lot of emotions out there, you want to have some tools in place. So feelings are energy and motion. Start getting to know them. I'm Denise Dryden. You can find me on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com, and have a great Sunday. Have a great full moon today. Take care. Bye-bye.